The peak season for apples in Minnesota is September through December. When you're looking for a good apple, you want to choose apples that are firm to the touch and have a good color for the variety. Avoid apples that have soft spots or bruises. Also avoid apples with wrinkled skin. You can store apples at room temperature on a counter for 1 to 2 days, but it's recommended to store them in the refrigerator to preserve quality. You can store apples in the refrigerator for up to 7 months. Wash apples under cool running water with the skins on before cutting or eating. You can eat apples fresh whole or add slices to fresh salads or cook them in sauces and desserts. The peak season for cucumbers in Minnesota is July through September. When you're choosing cucumbers, look for cucumbers that are bright and shiny green. Also choose cucumbers that are firm to the touch. Small, narrow cucumbers will have smaller seeds and tender skins and more flesh for eating compared with large cucumbers. You can store cucumbers in the refrigerator in a plastic bag for 3 to 4 days. It is not recommended to store cucumbers at room temperature or freeze. Do not store cucumbers with apples or tomatoes or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Before preparing or eating cucumbers, wash them under cool, running water. Scrub the surface with a clean and sanitized veggie brush. You can eat cucumbers fresh, whole, or sliced. Use in salads or pickle them. The peak season for kale in Minnesota is June through August. Choose kale with dark colored leaves and avoid brown or yellow leaves. Smaller leaves will be more tender and easier to chew. You should store kale in the refrigerator in a plastic bag for 3 to 5 days. Before you eat kale raw or cook with kale, you should wash it vigorously under cold running water. The central stalk is edible, just chop and prepare with the leaves if desired. Kale may be eaten raw, but may be a little tough. To soften kale, massage with your hands or marinate in a vinaigrette dressing. Kale can be cooked into soups, stir fries, or sauces. The peak season for winter squash in Minnesota is September through October. Choose a squash that is heavy for its size, with some of the stem intact, and a rich, deep color for its variety. The skin should be dull and matte. Avoid squash that is shiny or has cuts, cracks, and soft spots. Store winter squash in a cool, dry place for 3 to 6 months, depending on the variety. Do not refrigerate or freeze whole, raw squash. Wash squash vigorously with cool running water before cutting. Remove the squash stem with a sharp knife, then cut the squash in half. Scrape out the inside stringy mass and seeds. Bake, broil, or roast the squash. Once cooked, the tender flesh will easily separate from the tough skin. You may peel the skin off, then cut into smaller pieces to cook. The peak season for tomatoes in Minnesota is August through September. Choose tomatoes that are well formed and plump, have a firm skin, and an overall rich red color. Avoid those with soft spots and wrinkled skin. Whole raw tomatoes can be stored at room temperature for up to 1 week. Do not store whole ripe tomatoes in the refrigerator. Store sliced and cut tomatoes in a covered container in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days after cutting. Wash tomatoes vigorously under cold running water before eating raw or preparing. You can eat raw tomatoes whole, sliced, chopped, or diced. Add them to salads, sandwiches, or salsa. You can cook tomatoes in soup and sauces.